Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today, Bitcoin has yet again bounced off of our 400-day trend line. You can see it right here if we were to zoom in a little bit, that even though we touched upon it yet again, like we've been doing for the last couple of days, we have yet to breach, and depending on where we close today, it's still going to remain bullish on the outlook. Anyway, it's been quite peculiar to see the majority of these cryptocurrencies move. It's moving akin to what I expected. We actually earlier stated as well what Ethereum is facing right now. You can see the double top right here at roughly $1,669 because that's where we also basically felt our top on the 4th, 5th or so of November. And actually a couple times prior, you could see that this is just an area that Ethereum touches so ridiculously often that we marked it as important territory, as we also did with this like $1,300 range and at this $900 range. If we reflect all the way back towards 2017-18, we also saw that this $1,300 range or so was extremely important for Ethereum. And right now, our major question are we going to fall back down to this 200 weekly moving average, which also coincides with this very important support zone that would not be too crazy to watch, as again, Bitcoin as of this point is still just increasing in dominance. It is taking its dominance back to, I would say, support a further altcoin run a little bit later down the road. And guys, like we've covered on many different occasions, I believe in different cycles for the crypto market. I'm not 1,000% sure if the halving cycles are really at the core of everything, but Quinton posts, the next Bitcoin halving will take place around April, May of next year. I wonder what will happen next, as historically, if we were to take a good look at all this, you can see the way in which Bitcoin performs a year prior and a year after the major halving. And generally speaking here, it goes up quite a significant amount about 1 year before the halving start, which would be in about, I'd say, 3 months from now, and 1 year after the halving, which starts at, I'd say, 30th of April, let's call it. And yeah, ever since Bitcoin's inception, basically, it's been this way. Does this have to replicate itself? Absolutely not. But it is quite peculiar that for every single one of these times, it's done well. And here, it's actually hard to see in the midst of halving 3 that the price actually went up in this little time zone, or I'd say time period. But I'm assuming that that's because it's a logarithmic chart, because this little line right there is $5,000 and this little line right there is $12,000. And so if it's just slightly above, it could still be a couple $1,000 difference. Anyway, even if it's the one time that it would deviate from this idea, it's still pretty obvious that every single time right after the halving, a very bullish period has started, which could still be a year away, which is not so nice to see. But this is also just a little sign for everybody to zoom out for a second, like I usually show you guys as well, and realize that crypto, if you just zoom out long enough, is really always only on the up and up and up. Really, it is kind of daunting to see what Bitcoin looks like if you zoom out far enough, because from that perspective, you really are not getting some of the good deals which you could have gotten a little while ago, because the price just never comes back down. It keeps setting a new base, and it's still looking as if it's going to continue to do so. Anyway, there's a lot of news going on, and so let us also quickly cover what's going on with that. All right, this is Dusty from the future. There's a very interesting piece on the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit that was just posted this minute, and I thought let's quickly cover that before, or I guess just insert it into the video before it gets too late. Again, this is breaking news. Investment banker Declarant files a response to Ripple's opposition to the motion by investment banker Declarant to shield from public view his name, position, and employer. So again, to kind of debunk what it says right here, there's an individual, the investment banker Declarant, and this individual is an employee of an SEC regulated entity. And apparently he submitted a declaration to the SEC voluntarily, and for that reason, Ripple says that his information basically should become public. The people should be allowed to know what this man was all about, what his position was, and where he was working for his opinion to have any sort of, validity. And Ripple had a couple of other different claims. Point being, however, they are coming back now, again, the SEC side, because this was mostly for the SEC, where Ripple had a response that was for Ripple by saying, hey, this should all be public, and the SEC side is saying, no, it shouldn't. But it's specifically the investment banker declarant who is, again, on the side of the SEC. They're even saying that taken to their logical conclusions, defendants, which are Ripple, arguments would burden future government investigations. Investigators rely heavily on the cooperation of persons who may want or need confidentiality, and by exposing who this individual was, maybe they don't want to do it anymore, yada, yada, yada. It was peculiar to read. But that's basically the rundown. Again, there was an individual who's basically on the side of the SEC. He doesn't want to be exposed out there. He doesn't want his role, his employer, and his name out there. But Ripple says it should be out there. And now he's responding, explaining yet again why it shouldn't and why it could really hurt things further down the road for more investigations. So yeah, it's not the craziest of updates, but very important nonetheless, as it shows just yet again how everything on the SEC side seems to be needing to be hidden, where in reality, the way I'm thinking about it is we're trying to figure out what crypto regulation is, or how it should be treated and how it should be done. So as the SEC, I'd personally think make as much as possible public for the public domain, because at the end of the day, that's your objective, to make sure that all these guys know exactly what is and what isn't allowed, what has been discussed and what has not been discussed, to make sure they can follow the rules that you've set with your discussions and statements and verdicts and yada, yada, yada. But it seems they don't want to play that game. They want to hide as much as possible, make it as vague as possible, and then sue you once you've done something wrong. All right, guys, but before we move on, I need to suggest you guys something. Again, I am not a financial advisor, but I've been in the crypto space for a very long while. And one thing that I honestly need people to open their eyes towards is decentralized exchanges. Now, I'm going to give you guys an example here with BuySwap, which by far is my favorite decentralized exchange. I met them over at the Binance event over in Paris, as they were, I believe, the main sponsor. But yeah, as of that point, have basically made a very good relationship with them. And honestly, these are good people, guys. Anyway, we're not here for the people, we're here for the tech. And I keep telling you, decentralized exchanges are the future because you're not susceptible to all the risk. Right now, for example, I connect my wallet. I have, let's say, for example, 1,000 USDT in there. I can swap it over here for during the trade. Or as another example, for example, from BNB to another crypto. Anything on the Binance Smart Chain you can pick. And there's no risk of, if I just then let my coins stand, quote unquote, that all of a sudden my coins might be gone or something like that, as they don't custody your coins or anything. These are swaps that you're performing with your own wallet for yourself. And the reason BuySwap over others is mostly because of fees. Guys, when you're trading a lot like I am, the fees really start to stack up. And so I'm usually looking for either good bonuses or good fees. And in this case here, BuySwap has an amazing fee structure. You can see here, lowest trade fee in the DeFi space at 0.2%, while also having a 50% exchange fee reimbursement. And yeah, since I was kind of early here, I guess, I've also been farming like a pretty big madman. You have to know what you're doing though if you want to get into the farms. I'm mostly suggesting this as something to look into if you want to become a little bit less reliant on traditional exchanges. I'll leave a link down below, and just guys, at least check it out. If you don't like it, maybe don't use it again, but at least check it out. At least make one swap, see if it's something for you. I use it nearly every single day, and it works like a charm, but I still notice there's not enough people that understand that this is the sustainable future for crypto, and so you should at least teach yourself about how it all works. Again, it's very simple. On the top right, you guys can't perfectly see it, there's a connect wallet button. Once you've connected the wallet, there'll be a little prompt that shows up or something, and you're on your Binance Smart Chain, or for example, MetaMask. Again, you can just go to exchange right here, press the button, and it will show you to swap. So you can, for example, change your BNB to some other coin that you want to swap it to on the Binance Smart Chain. Or if you'd like to look a little bit more like an exchange, there's also an option to do that. As you can see, it's loading in for me right now. And by the way, I also keep up with the updates on BuySwap. So don't worry, if there's something happening, I'll be the first to tell you. And right now, a couple days ago, the BuySwap roadmap got explored, changed, I don't know how you want to call it, revealed or updated. And you can see a little bit of what they are going through and what they are planning to do. A lot of cool stuff is still in the pipeline. I think it's going to expand, and I'm happy to be a quote unquote early adopter. Again, most exciting, if I had to pick something, would surely be the new AMM protocol. A lot of DEXs, again, you guys might be a little bit out of the loop with the conversation, but a lot of DEXs, they claim now to have an advantage because they're already going for AMM. Again, AMM on its own, automated market making, is not necessarily a flex anymore. It's just about how developed it is, potentially. And so it's very nice to see for the LPs specifically that they are doing another upgrade for this. So yeah, this is going to be amazing if you're a liquidity provider. You're going to get yourself more fees, more profit. Again, fees in that sense is a positive thing, right? As that's where you're making your money from. And also the ability to reduce impermanent losses by concentrated liquidity. And also apparently they're trying to strengthen the BSW, their own token as well. Just very good stuff as of this point. Again, guys, trust me when I say you want to check this out. It's the future. I keep telling people, but not enough people are listening. That's why I'm spending a little section on it, guys. Just check it out. Do yourself a favor. And if you don't like it, let me know down below. I know it might not be convenient at the start. You might not understand, but just trust me on this one and check it out. Not your financial advisor, but I hope to point you in the right direction as to what to research into, as I personally am fully believing in the fact that decentralized exchanges are the future. This could be quite peculiar. They already filed for bankruptcy protection all the way back in July. A ruling earlier this month said that assets in Celsius earn accounts belong to the company, not customers, which was kind of scary. A representative for Celsius, however, said the vast majority of Celsius customers are in the earn program. And they're saying now that account customers will be entitled to a significant return, a representative of Celsius told a bankruptcy court on Tuesday. Quote, "The earned customers we think are going to be treated equally and will be entitled to a significant return of value here," they said. That is going to be a very interesting story to follow over the next couple of, let's call it months, as this is a long process, but it's going to be interesting. There was a NFT collection that was launched by Porsche, or Porsche for the Americans out there. Let me know down below, actually. Are you guys into NFTs at all? Anyway, so they had a mint for 0.911 Ethereum per NFT, and it flopped. It really didn't do too well. It was 0.0911 ETH. Sorry, it would have been better if it was 0.0911 ETH, because it seemed to the community and to me as well as if they were just trying to make some money, not really putting in effort to get into the crypto space, just saying, hey, we're launching this. It's $1,500. Buy it. If you don't want to, no worries. We'll sell it anyway. We don't need you. That's kind of how it looked like, because people really were not interested. All these different companies entering the crypto space, they try to enter the crypto space and then sell something. Porsche was like, let's sell something, and that's about it. It really doesn't work that way, especially if your price is that high. The point again is that they were just trying to get way too much money for what it was worth, and they should have built either a community first or try to build a community after selling it for a okay price, so to speak. So people were surely not happy about it. It was a very big uproar actually in the crypto community. It's just a little interesting piece. Anyway, moving on. Apparently, and this is some very big news, Arizona lawmakers are seeking to make crypto a tax-exempt property. Should the bill pass the legislature, Arizona voters could choose whether virtual currency is tax exempt as part of a November 2024 ballot measure. I don't know too much about this because, again, it's in the US and these things are all very vastly different in the US, it seems. So this is only very much applicable to specifically Arizona people. But reading about it made me quite curious as to how the entire country is looking at crypto. And you can see at the bottom here, this is also interesting. At the federal level, sales or purchases of crypto are generally subject to capital gains taxes in the US. Lawmakers in different states have proposed various policies related to crypto and taxes, including Colorado Governor Jared Polis allowing residents to pay taxes in crypto, and Alaska, Florida, New Hampshire, Nevada, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming offering 0% capital gains to potential investors, which I did not even know, but that is actually pretty wild. I didn't know that in Miami you had this 0% capital gains tax, or potentially it's actually just a proposal. But I'm not too sure about that. Again, guys, I am not in the US. So it's very peculiar, though, to see them update these things and kind of go through the motion of trying to get everything approved and see what the people are thinking about it as well. But from all these proposals here, I've yet to see much opposition. The majority of these ones have been met with a lot of positive responses, which has been peculiar. Anyway, moving forward, Goldman Sachs ranks Bitcoin as the best performing asset of 2023. Yeah, so they have a full list of all these different things, and apparently Bitcoin comes out on top. And even with their Sharpe ratio, Bitcoin is extremely good, which is interesting because that also takes into account risk. Again, coming in with the coconut water right here. Anyway, Sharpe ratio for you guys, this little investment lesson right here is basically the return that you expect to get, the expected return that is better than the risk-free return, divided by the risk. So in this case here, I'm not actually sure which values they've taken for Bitcoin. I guess potentially they've taken hindsight values. But as the market has been going so crazy, I even wonder what the risk-free rate is right now. I wouldn't even be able to tell you. Market's been pretty damn wild, right? Anyway, the point being here that Bitcoin comes out on top on both of these, specific return and the risk-adjusted return. It's pretty cool. All right, I want to kind of go through these because we've been taking too much time. BlockFi creditor committee advisor reveals $1.2 billion exposure to FTX and Alameda Research. Unredacted financials reports have revealed that crypto lender BlockFi's exposure to both FTX and Alameda was actually much larger than the firm first reported. Apparently, it was a very significant amount larger, as it's apparently $1.2 billion freaking dollars. So, per the financial presentation, BlockFi had $420 million worth of assets tied up with FTX and $830 million in loans to Alameda, which, yeah, that's a big hit, all right? That's a very significant hit, and I really wonder how this is all going to fix itself. I got debated with this article right here. It says, Tron as currency, Kingdom of the Netherlands to adopt Tron as legal tender. Netherlands, I go hand in hand right here. I was hyped up because I thought, hey, I'm seeing it kind of looked like Netherlands right here in the background. I still suppose that it is. Wow, that could be crazy, Tron is a legal tender as a real currency? No, it's actually an island that belongs to the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Sint Maarten. So, yeah, significantly less cool because I kind of think they just bought their way in, Tron, which obviously is a lot less juicy of a news. On the other end, it's still pretty cool that Justin Sun is finding his way around the world so smoothly. He's getting these partnerships still. It's not a simple thing, even if you want to pay. But yeah, apparently this is another milestone for Tron. Sint Maarten to adopt Tron as legal tender marks another achievement for our push on worldwide blockchain adoption, which all I can say about that is that's pretty cool, even though I really have lost all my faith in Tron, all my my holdings in Tron have not increased in like 3 or 4 or 5 years, maybe even. But I'd say, well, very good for them. Very good for Tron, and I really hope the best for them. I really hope they will succeed to some degree anyway. But yeah. Another thing I might think of here, I'm thinking of here, is doing another very in-depth video on Cardano and everything that's going on right now. All I'm trying to say right now is they're doing pretty well. And I think to a certain degree, they're underrepresented in the crypto space right now for the amount of updates that I've seen about it. I see a lot more updates than usual. And so it might be worth it to make another little juicy update on it. But anyway, that was it for today's video though. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely see you guys again in another crypto video later today somewhere.